Hey yo, what is going on, guys? dbzmando signing on here, and welcome to a Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 video breakdown. Yes, I know it's a little late, but I wanted to get this out because, I want to cover as much as I can and break down each episode. Don't worry, when Episode 2 comes out, I'll have a review and a breakdown as well, probably the following next day if I can, if not the day after. But anyway, let's get into it. So, Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 begins with us looking at Boba Fett, who's in the back to tank, currently healing from his wounds and scars that we saw back in The Mandalorian Season 3, and he's dreaming. He's having flashbacks of, we see Kamino at first, which was pretty sick to see, honestly. It was nice seeing Kamino after so long. We haven't seen Kamino, God, since basically the Clone Wars, and live-action Kamino was back in Attack of the Clones. So that, honestly, it was really sick. We then see a flashback of him. This is probably either, I don't know if it's extended footage or just them reshooting it. But we then see Boba Fett as a kid running to his father's helmet, Jango Fett, picking it up and, doing his the head touching of his helmet. And honestly, and I did notice that the imagery is different. The background is not the same as it was from Attack of the Clones, as the giant creature in the back, the Reek, which was the creature that Jango Fett had shot down right before, it rammed him after it destroyed his jetpack, which then, led to his demise by Jango. So the imagery, the background was a bit different, but still same, I guess, purpose of seeing that. We then cut to Boba Fett, who wakes up in the Sarlacc pit, unconscious after the events of Episode 6, and he's gasping for air. He actually notices that there's a dead stormtrooper, which he then crawls his way to, grabs oxygen from the stormtrooper's oxygen tank, and uses it to breathe. As you can imagine, it's probably pretty hard to breathe in the belly of a Sarlacc. He then punches his way through and burns his way out through the Sarlacc's stomach, and finally emerging from the sands and passes out. Understandably so, as the man was covered in acid, and we get to see this as he lays there unconscious for a good while, until a bunch of Jawas gang up on him, stripping him of all his clothes, practically leaving him butt naked. I thought it looked so goofy when that happened, but they strip him of all of his armor. He tries to fight back, but he's too weak, and they end up knocking him out and leaving with his gear. He then is woken up by Tusken Raiders with a remedy of some sort to wake him up from his unconsciousness, and then they drag him back to their camp, his hands tied to a rope as he's basically being pulled to their camp from the back of a Vampa. Sorry, Bantha, not Vampa. Vampa's the planet for Broly. So he's just being basically just hauled back to their camp. He falls unconscious and is then later just dragged. He's still taken there no matter what. And once he's there, he's then tied up to a log, being beaten by little Tusken Raider kids as he wanders trying to figure out what is going on. Nighttime then approaches, and he is stuck there with another Rodian. And to those who don't know, Rodian is that same creature Greedo was, that Han Solo, killed in Episode 4. When they were having the whole talk, and also led to the right controversy. Did Han shoot first? Did Greedo shoot first? I'm going to say Han shot first, but we'll see. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But anyway, so it's nighttime. They're being watched by the guard dog of the Sand People called Massifs. Massifs are the name of their little dog-like lizard creatures. And it's sleeping currently, and Boba Fett while it's asleep, Boba Fett tries to cut his bonds, and the Massif notices this, but Boba Fett stops, and it's kind of like just a back and forth. He does it, he notices, stops, until the Massif gets close enough to where Boba knocks him out and uses his teeth to cut his binds. He then offers to cut the Rodian, but the Rodian is just, a little tattletale, a little snitch, and tries to rat him out. Boba runs, he's chased by other Tuskens. He fights off the Massif until the Tuskens tell the Massif to get off of him. He then fights another one of the Tusken Raiders, who is holding the same weapon, I believe, was from that Boba used back in The Mandalorian. So maybe this is a prelude to him eventually getting that weapon. So they kind of just show it there. But anyways, so he fights the Tusken Raider and is beaten, as he is still badly injured from, you know, escaping a Sarlacc, being dragged through the desert, and also just slaying there in the desert for so long. So he's not at peak performance, but I'm sure he'll get there. He then passes out, and then we cut back to Boba being woken up by Fennec Shand, who's saying, you know, everybody has come to bring their offerings, basically. And then we get to see an epic suit up montage of him just putting on every single piece of his armor, donning black, you know, a black, not jumpsuit, I guess, instead of his beige one. And everything looks cleaner, a little bit more scuffed up, because, you know, he did have his recent paint job back in The Mandalorian, so but he's wearing that same stuff. Everything's a little more scuffed up, but it still looks cool nonetheless. And once he puts on his Boba Fett, his Boba Fett helmet, we get that nice sound, the same sound effect they use when Darth Vader put his helmet, his mask on and helmet on, of the air being sealed off. And it's pretty nice. Nice sound effect. You'll love to hear it. Get them Darth Vader vibes. He is then sitting on his throne, being given offerings by many people. He's given offerings of what looks to be Republic credits after offered the nice amount of credits, even though they could barely translate it because they can't speak all the languages, which kind of sucks. I thought Boba Fett would be fluent in every language, but hey, not everybody's perfect. And so they do need a translator droid. Protocol droid, sorry. They are then given an offering what looks to be a Wookiee hide. When I saw it first, I really thought it was a Wookiee hide. And it probably is. It probably still is a Wookiee hide. And it is given to them by a Trandoshan who, if you remember in Clone Wars, and it honestly makes sense why he would give him a Wookiee pelt, because you remember in Clone Wars, they like hunted Wookiees. It was like their prize. But Wookiees and Trandoshans just hated each other. Oh man, what an good episode from Clone Wars. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. We are then greeted by, after he meets with a Trandoshan, who I didn't mention this, they called him the Daimyo. He calls him the Daimyo, which I looked it up because I had no clue what it meant. And what Daimyo means is a great lord. That's what a Daimyo is. That's at least what I was able to see what it means. It is a great lord who were vassals of the Shogun. That is what a Daimyo is, and that is what they call Boba, which makes sense after he, just took over Bib Fortune after, killing him. So he's given that pelt, and then later on they are also met with the mayor's major domo, which is the chief steward of a large household, is what I saw is what it meant. So basically his lackey, his messenger or whatever. Or this guy comes to meet with them and does not give any offerings. He has not come to give offerings. He just comes to say that the mayor welcomes them. And actually, to their surprise, Boba and Fennec's surprise, says that he is actually expecting a gift from them, a contribution from them. And Boba's like, no, you give things to me, I don't give things to you. Fennec offers to kill him, and Boba's like, no, we're not doing that. So they said that they have no gifts for him, and that their gift to him is that the Major Domo gets to leave unharmed. And the Major Domo is like, heh, to that. So it's very interesting. I'm honestly very and maybe it'll lead to something later down the line I'll get to as we get farther into this video. So they say their goodbyes. We see two Gamorreans, Jabba's little pig guards, which actually look a bit different. I noticed this a lot. They look a lot different than they used to back in their, older counterparts. And I kind of like the older design. That's me personally, though. I kind of like the older design than this newer design. This newer design kind of looks a little weird. But I don't know. Let me guys know in the comments. Do you prefer the older ones or the newer ones? But anyway, we are told that they were loyal to Bib Fortune in the end, and that they should be slaughtered to be made an example of. Boba was like, you were loyal to the last person who ruled, so if I were to spare you, would you be loyal to me? And without a second thought, they are automatically, bam, loyal. They're just like, yeah, we'll serve you. Yep, you spared our lives. And that's usually kind of how the Gamorrean guards work, sort of. We then transition to Boba Fett and Fennec Shand going into Mos Espa to go greet one of the people that Bib Fortune was ruling over, to let them know of the change in leadership, if that makes sense. We also get to see little walking droids to remind me of that little drone that slipped on water. Oh man, that was funny. But so they're just going there basically to collect their things. Fennec Shan's like, we should have carried you on a litter, which is how they carry Jabba, which is this giant. It's basically a giant moving bed chair. It's just a giant chair that they move royalty on. And Boba's like, no, I don't want to be held around like that. He walks on his own 2 feet, which he tells later on, as we'll get into that. He wants to be different. He doesn't want to be, how a traditional ruler is, which is just fat, lazy, and the fatter you are, the wealthier you are, and all that. He doesn't want to be seen as that. He wants to be powerful, seen as strong, not lazy. He'll get his own hands dirty if he needs to. That is the way he wants to be seen. Fennec Shan, of course, says that things will be easier if they do things the traditional way. And Boba's like, no. So they go into the cantina, and we actually see my buddy, because I was watching with my friends, we actually see the blue elephant, who I didn't know the name was of until because I know he's iconic. Everybody loves this man. He's like the mad lad of the band. I actually didn't even know his name, but I found out his name, and his name's Max Rebo, who is the epic pianist tune guy of the band. What a mad lad. It was awesome seeing him. I can't believe I didn't know his name. What disrespect. I'm sorry. I bring shame on you guys. But yeah, that is Max. Yeah, Max Espo. Max Rebo. Max Rebo is just that band guy on Tatooine who's a mad lad. So it was honestly really cool seeing him. Last time we saw him was back in episode 4 in the Mos Eisley Cantina, giving out his jazz music tunes. Yeah. So anyway, they're in the cantina. They're greeted by Twi'leks, who ask if they would like to have their helmets shine. Boba's like, yeah, go ahead. And go ahead, shine their helmets. He's like, pulls Fennec's line saying, it'd be easier if you went to traditional ways or whatever. But anyway, they meet the leader, the business owner, Twi'lek, saying that there's under new management and that it will be safe under his watchful eye. She also makes a comment saying, oh, I didn't know that, you were the new leader, as you weren't carried on a litter, which goes to show that the way they know somebody is in power is by them being carried by servants, which I guess, yeah, that shows how you're powerful, that you have people carrying you. But Boba Fett doesn't work that way. As I said before, and he says it here, he walks with his own 2 feet. He does not need to be carried. He carries himself. What a mad lad. So he tells that it'll be under their watchful eye and that nothing will come of harm. She thanks him, and they are gifted credits. Rich and glorious credits, as it should. So they continue to walk out as he decides where he's going to start, how to grow his empire as he's coming into rule. But as he and Fennec are having this discussion, they are then disrupted by these assassins with ray shields, like movable ray shields and electric staffs. And they're there to attack him. I'm going to assume that the mayor probably sent them after them. Now, this is just my theory, but we'll find out later on if it was actually the mayor who sent them after Boba, because he wasn't exactly happy with Boba's statement saying that I'm not giving you a gift. The gift is that your Major Domo doesn't get to die. So I'm sure the mayor wasn't too fond of that and probably sent these guys. But that's just a theory for now. But anyway, they jump Boba and Fennec Shan. There's this whole brawl going on. Boba and Fennec are getting electrified. Then we see the Gamorreans come in, wreak absolute shit, wreak havoc. Are actually shown pretty strong in this. Honestly, they're held pretty highly in this episode. As you know, we see them get bodied a lot in episode 6. So they're attacked by the guards. Boba and Fennec fend them off. Boba's getting stabbed and poked, and he's really showing that he has not fully healed, as he's hurting very bad. He has not fully healed from his wounds. Keep that in mind. He was still healing in the back tank, so not everything is done. Healing wise, he probably still has a few internal and external injuries that need a little bit of patching. So he's getting a little bit, overrun, but he ends up fending him off. We actually get an awesome rocket scene where he kills one of the assassins trying to escape with his rocket on his gauntlet, and that was sick. As two more are then trying to escape, Fennec goes to chase him as Boba's, laying on the ground in immense pain. He tells Fennec that he wants one of them alive. There's this epic chase scene going down. As Fennec is chasing them, she finally catches up with the two assassins and ends up killing one of them. As you know, you only need one messenger. You don't need two. So, and then that's where it ends off, with her at least. The Gamorreans then grab Boba Fett, take him back to the Bacta tank as he orders them to, and then throw him in there. And he then begins to go back into the flashback state, where he is attached to a bark, where he and the Gamorrean are taken to go help this little Tusken kid that I actually forgot to mention in the past, that he had almost basically spared. He spared this kid because when he was escaping, the kid tried to stop him, and then he tripped the kid and threatened him. I'm sorry, I forget to mention that. But anyway, he's going with the Rodian. Boba and the Rodian go to the desert where they are told to be digging for water, which are these little they're little circle plant balls. They're digging for those and basically finding a bunch. The Rodian finds a bunch while Boba's in no luck until he finds one, drinks it. The youngling Tusken doesn't like that, tries to attack him. Boba, in an awesome fashion, grabs a stick, says, "Hey, watch it," and then hands him the water as the dog's, not very happy, as a little watchdog isn't happy. He then says, "I would like to drink." Obviously, the Tusken kid is not going to be very happy and just gives the rest of the water to the Scarif. After some more digging, the Rodian and Boba, arguing with the Rodian, being pissed that the Rodian ratted him out and said that they could have been out of there if the Rodian hadn't, screwed up. But the Rodian continues to dig until he sees a claw, continues to dig at it. The claw then grabs the Rodian, slams him to the ground. We then see this giant creature that a lot of people are saying it's Goro or the Machamp. I actually tried to look up this creature. There is nothing. I could not find anything. They just said the desert creature and the new creature. So I'm assuming this is honestly probably a brand new creature, and if anybody out there was able to find anything, let me know down in the comments if y'all, were able to find anything. But this creature basically bodies them for a good while, kills the Rodian. The Scarif dog, Tusken Scarif, Raider dog, tries to attack, gets bodied as well. So does the Tusken Raider kid. Boba tries to deal with his own, gets actually sucker punched. Is held upside down and sucker punched. That was pretty sick. And then is left on the ground thinking he's dealt with, as the giant creature thinks, and goes to actually attack the Tusken Raider kid, who is running for his life until he's on the ground, until Boba pulls a Princess Leia and uses the chains that he was binded with and strangles the sand creature until it basically, falls over and dies. And then we get an epic pose from our man Boba. So I think they're pretty sick. And, the Tusken Raider kid is all happy and giddy, yo, this was sick. Any of us would be giddy in that point. He then goes to his village and says, "Look what I found, look what I have." And as he's holding the head of the creature, probably telling them, I don't speak Tusken Raider, and if you guys do, let me know what he said in the comments. And he's just probably telling them about how he killed this creature, and they're all like, "Oh my god, you're so cool," and all that, and "Oh my god," and everybody's just praising the kid as he's telling this story, and Boba's just smirking and looking on. But as the chief of the Tusken Raiders actually walks to him as he's looking on the story and hands him a piece of water as a thanks, and Boba, smirks and drinks the water, and that is where the episode ends. God, what an awesome episode. Now, it was so good. Oh man, this show is gonna be awesome. I loved this episode. This episode was sick. There was a lot of things and details that I noticed of, him surviving, backgrounds. That was sick. Him becoming a leader, being on his own 2 feet, not trying to live the lazy life how normal Star Wars leaders do. He wants to do things on his own. And honestly, it's so cool. I really like this episode. It's a great start. He's a badass. He's also weak, as, you know, he did get covered in acid, so I gotta keep that in mind. I also try to remember these flashbacks to, like, take place during episode 6. Like, probably during or a little bit after. Most likely during. I'm not too sure how long he was left on the sands of Tatooine for, but this is all during episode 6. Either during or a little bit after. So, but yeah, all in all, guys, an amazing show. I cannot wait for episode 2 tomorrow. I'll be dropping a review for that for that tomorrow. The breakdown will then, for that video, will also happen hopefully the day after or 2 days later. I want to try and be more on top of this. If I notice even more Easter eggs, obviously I'm going to post more about it. I will be on top of it. So, yeah, look forward to more Book of Boba Fett content, because I love Boba Fett. He's a god, he's a goat, and I cannot wait to see more. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun doing this. Breakdowns are fun, and honestly, noticing a lot of things and doing research is just sick. And I'm a major Star Wars fan, so honestly, I had a blast doing this. And guys, let me know what you guys thought of the breakdown down in the comments. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to blast I11 out of this universe. Hey, and if you enjoyed the breakdown of my video and other contents on the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification, because I do upload daily. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. dbzmando, signing out.